which is a part of the bill itself, is the constitutional crisis. Every judge in this country takes an oath to uphold the U.S. Constitution. But in family court, constitutional rights have been systemically bypassed. Parents are denied their First Amendment right to direct their children's upbringing. Their Fourth Amendment protections are ignored when children are seized on vague allegations without warrants. Their Fifth and 14th Amendment rights to due process are trampled as children are taken without real evidence, often without even a jury. And their Sixth and Seventh Amendment rights to confront accusers and have a fair trial are stripped away entirely. This is not justice. This is a state-sanctioned family separation, a quiet constitutional crisis. Section 2 is a system built on historical harm. This system did not emerge overnight. It is the modern face of a dark legacy that began with this, what you see here, the orphan train movement between 1854 and 1929. This is really important because you can see these children, they were treated like slaves, okay? When over 200,000 children were taken from families and often were not orphans at all. So they're making children orphans that have biological family. And the Family Justice and Accountability Act, my top priority is to keep children in biological families. Okay. So 200,000 children were taken from families and they were not orphans at all. They were distributed like property. And the mindset that poor, disabled, or marginalized families could have their children taken was institutionalized in 1962. Now hold on to your seats because this occurred in New York State. In 1962, with what was called the Family Court Act, and it was financially incentivized with the Adoption and Safe Families Act of 1997. So it was, just so you know, the 1962 Family Court Act that was put into place in New York, started in New York and then it went across the whole country, leave it to New York. Basically what they did was they put this in without the vote of you and I. So without the vote of the people, not state or congressionally. And you wonder why it's on sinking sand. We didn't vote it in. So what does that mean, everybody? That means that they usurped our authority, okay? And then when they did that, they held everybody down and said, you're down here, we're here, okay? But we're now here showing them where we are and who we are because the authority belongs to us. We're actually their boss, okay? They're our employees, not the other way around, to walk all over us the way they've been doing and destroying children and families for decades. So then it was again ASFA, which is also in the bill, which I want it completely abolished.
Man.
So every child removed became a source of revenue. So it's not just about money though, it's child trafficking, period. That's what it is. This is slavery right here you're looking at. This is slavery of children. And it's continuing. It's in modern day society continuing under the guise of, this is a court. It looks like a court. It's got, it's got the judge in the front and it's got the seats and it's got what looks like a court, but it's not a court at all because it wasn't voted in by the people. And then they incorporated judicial immunity to that. They added that in. They threw that in for, a bonus so they can do whatever they want to you. And then, of course, the police support that and everybody supports that when that's all illegal. Okay, so it says, today we have, hold on to your seat, a multi-trillion-dollar system that profits from family separation. Think of what things cost today. You know what things cost today. You can't even buy a loaf of bread. Think of what things cost. Now think about what this business has brought in financially. People go, it's a multi-million-dollar, it's a multi-billion. Honey, it's a multi-trillion-dollar child trafficking industry. That's what it is. Section 3, human rights and ADA violations. That's where I'm a forensic expert. And that's where, and actually we have Victoria Gribben here. She's my mentor and she is exceptional when it comes to the ADA. She's actually contacted courts and then changed the Unified Court System website to actually say what the ADA actually says and not what they say it says. So she's actually put those words in. It's disgusting. So our nation has no uniform judicial training on human rights. Judges receive little to no meaningful training on the Americans with Disability Act, despite being legally bound to comply with it. Families families with disabilities are routinely denied accommodations that are guaranteed under federal law. ADA rights are treated as discretionary when they are, in fact, mandatory civil rights protections. It's not a, I'll grant you this, I'm not going to grant you that. How dare they? If a man rolled into the courtroom in a wheelchair, the judge isn't going to say, we're going to hold a hearing and grant his wheels, but we're going to take away his seat, right? It's the same thing with what I call invisible injury, okay? They call it mental illness. I don't like using that connotation because it sounds something is radically wrong with someone. And in some cases, we have trolls, so there is something wrong with some people. But with the majority of people, we have people that have what's called invisible injury. It could be PTSD, depression, whatever the court caused you to have, because the court is causing it. Maybe you're in a domestic violence situation, you go for help, and then they make it even worse, right? They re-victimize you, and they cause further damage to you. Well, that's a psychological injury. There's nothing wrong with you personally as a human being, right? It's just that they've done this to you. And so that's why there's something awesome called legal abuse syndrome on the DSM-5 now. I think it's line Z. And that is there so we can sue them, but they're not allowing it because the court system goes all the way up the food chain where they're in full control. But not anymore. That day ended today. So, families with disabilities are routinely denied these accommodations under federal law. These are federal codifications, and they are such amazing fortified protections, and that's why they don't want you to know about it. That's why they keep the Constitution out, and that's why they keep the Articles of Human Rights out of the court. So just think, those are all three where you can sue, but you can also go after them for criminal charges because they're causing massive damages, right? This bill mandates judicial training on the Constitution, human rights, and the ADA, ensuring that no judge can claim ignorance when violating a family's civil rights. Section 4, the human cost. This is not an abstract policy. These are lives. According to the Center for Judicial Excellence, at least 64 children were killed in custody and visitation-related cases in 2022 alone. I'm sure there's more than that. I don't think they even are saying that, because you have to understand that these are coming through custody orders, and what I see, what I've witnessed over the years is a whole heck of a lot more than that. But they're not marking that. They're not telling you that a judge made that order, okay? 30 more deaths were already reported halfway through this year alone, 2025. These numbers are not just statistics, they are sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, and many of them were placed in danger by the very system claiming to act in their best interest. Section 5, the solutions in this act. The Family Justice and Accountability Act is bold because incremental change is no longer enough. It ends immunity for judges. So remember I told you that we never voted it in? Even President Trump's lawyers didn't know what I know. Isn't that funny? So when he went through what he went through with the, 34 felony charge nonsense, which we all know was nonsense, leave it to New York again, right? They said that they couldn't wipe out the immunity part because they're saying that it was constitutional. It's not constitutional in family court because, again, we didn't vote it in. Did you guys vote it in? Did your ancestors vote it in? Did your grandparents vote it in? Would anybody with a brain vote this in? Come on. So that makes the qualified immunity completely illegal. It's actually treason on American soil. These courts are operating in treason on American soil. So that's how we get them, and we end it. We end all this immunity. And again, bottom line, when they built this mess, when they built it, okay, they did not incorporate the Constitution. How many of you here, by a show of hands, had attorneys tell you, don't mention the Constitution? Anybody here? Look at this. How many of you in here trying to assert your ADA right